Vitarasi Dikshurane Dikpati Kamaniyam.
Vitarasi Dikshurane Dikpati Kamaniyam.
Vitarasi Dikshurane Dikpati Kamaniyam.
Dasamukha Mauli Balim Ramaniyam.
Dasamukha Mauli Balim Ramaniyam.
Dasamukha Mauli Balim Ramaniyam. Dasamukha Mauli Balim
Ramaniyam.
Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Keshavadrita Rama Sharira Veda Rama Sharira
Veta Rama Sharira.
Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare
Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare.
Vitarasi Dikshurane Dikpati Kamaniyam.
Vitarasi Dikshurane Dikpati Kamaniyam.
Vitarasi Dikshurane Dikpati Kamaniyam.
Vitarasi Dikshurane Dikpati Kamaniyam.
Dasamukha Mauli Balim Ramaniyam.
Dasamukha Mauli Balim Ramaniyam.
Dasamukha Mauli Balim Ramaniyam.
Dasamukha Mauli Balim Ramaniyam.
Keshavadrita Rama Sharira
Keshavadeta Rama Sharira.
Keshavadrita Rama Sharira
Keshavadeta Rama Sharira.
Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare
Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare
Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare
Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare.
Sitaram 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 Jaya Sitaram
Jai Sitaram 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 Jaya Sitaram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Jai Sitaram, Jai Sitaram, Jai Sitaram,
Sitaram, Jaya Sitaram, Sitaram, Jaya Sitaram.
Sitaram Jaya Sitaram, Sitaram Jaya Sitaram.
Jaya Sitaram, Jaya Sitaram, Sitaram, Jaya Sitaram.
Jaya Sitaram Jaya Sitaram, Sitaram Jaya Sitaram.
Jaya Sitaram, Jaya Sitaram, Sitaram, Jaya Sitaram.
Jaya Sitaram Jaya Sitaram, Jaya Sitaram Jaya Sitaram.
Jaya Sitaram, Jaya Sitaram, Jaya Sitaram, Jaya Sitaram.
Jaya Sitaram Jaya Sitaram, Jaya Sitaram Jaya Sitaram.
Jaya Sitaram, Jaya Sitaram, Jaya Sitaram, Jaya Sitaram.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva.
Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaura Hari Bol. जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सदस्य श्रीमद् अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सदस्य श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंद की जय. श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिगोवर्धन की जय. ब्रजभूमि श्री वनधाम की जय. मायापुर श्री नवद्वीप धाम की जय. मथुरा धाम की जय. द्वारका धाम की जय. जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय. गंगा माई यमुना माई की जय. भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय. समवेत गौरभक्त वृंद की जय. गौरभक्त प्रेम आनंदे हरि हरि बोल. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. So Hare Krishna devotees, welcome for ISKCON Seshadripuram morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. So today, this week is very special because we are having a Ramanavami coming up. So I have been requested to speak a little bit on Lord Ramachandra. So today we will start off this glorification of Lord Ramachandra. Of course, it will continue on Sunday on the 10th, which is actually the Ramanavami day. So I will be talking more in the temple on the further pastimes of Lord Ramachandra. So we can, sort of continue this for maybe 2 days in that sense. Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
You have a very nice and energetic start to the day.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
A wonderful kirtan, Prabhu.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. Always nice to have kirtan to begin with, and a lot of energetic kirtan always gives us the
Today it was very energetic.
Hari Bol. Thank you, Prabhu. Inspiration by Lord Rama.
Yes, sir.
Hare Krishna. So we will now discuss. Give me a minute, I will just pick up the verse in the screen. Okay. So here we go. We will be discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, third chapter, verse number 22, which describes the incarnation of Lord Rama. Naradevatvam mapannaha sura karya chikitsaya samudra nirgrahadini chakre viryani atah param. Naradevatvam apannaha surya karya chikitsaya samudra nirgrahadini chakre viryani atah param. Naradevatvam apannaha sura karya chikitsaya samudra nirgrahadini chakre viryani atah param. Word by word meaning: Nara, human being; Devatvam, divinity; Apannaha, having assumed the form of; Sura, the demigods; Karya, activities; Chikitsaya, for the purpose of performing; Samudra, the Indian Ocean; Nigraha Adini, controlling, etc. Chakre, did perform; Viryani, superhuman prowess; Atah Param, thereafter. Translation: in the 18th incarnation, the Lord appeared as King Rama. In order to perform some pleasing work for the demigods, he exhibited superhuman powers by controlling the Indian Ocean and then killing the atheist king Ravana, who was on the other side of the sea. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The personality of Godhead Sri Rama assumed the form of a human being and appeared on the earth for the purpose of doing some pleasing work for the demigods or the administrative personalities to maintain the order of the universe. Sometimes great demons and atheists like Ravana and Hiranyakashipu and many others become very famous due to advancing material civilization by the help of material science and other activities with the spirit of challenging the established order of the Lord. For example, the attempt to fly to other planets by material means is a challenge to the established order. The condition of each and every planet are different, and different classes of human beings are accommodated there for particular purposes mentioned in the codes of the Lord. But puffed up by tiny success in material advancement, sometimes the godless materialists challenge the existence of God. Ravana was one of them, and he wanted to deport ordinary men to the planet of Indra, heaven, by material means without consideration of the necessary qualifications. He wanted a staircase to be built up directly reaching the heavenly planet so that people might not be required to undergo the routine of pious work necessary to enter that planet. He also wanted to perform other acts against the established rule of the Lord. He even challenged the authority of Sri Rama, the personality of Godhead, and kidnapped his wife Sita. Of course, Lord Rama came to chastise this atheist, answering the prayer and desire of the demigods. He therefore took up the challenge of Ravana, and the complete activity is the subject matter of Ramayana. Because Lord Ramachandra was the personality of Godhead, he exhibited superhuman activities which no human being, including the materially advanced Ravana, could perform. Lord Ramachandra prepared a royal road on the Indian Ocean with stones that floated on the water. The modern scientists have done research in the area of weightlessness, but it is not possible to bring in weightlessness anywhere and everywhere. But because weightlessness is the creation of the Lord, by which he can make the gigantic planets fly and float in the air, he made the stones even within the earth to be weightless and prepared a stone bridge on the sea without any supporting pillar. That is the display of the power of God. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshururmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaurabhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat. So today, as I mentioned, we will discuss about the appearance of Lord Rama. Here it is very beautifully explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, where in the first canto, third chapter, the various incarnations of the Lord has been described. And Lord Ramachandra's appearance has also been discussed here. In this one verse, the entire narration, in this one verse, Prabhupada writes the entire commentary, in one sense, about the appearance of Lord Ramachandra. In the 18th incarnation, the Lord appeared as King Rama in order to perform some pleasing work for the demigods. He exhibited superhuman powers by controlling the Indian Ocean and then killing the atheist King Ravana, who was on the other side of the sea. So Lord Ramachandra, we know the Lord appears here. It is mentioned the Lord appears many times. The Rama incarnation is considered the 18. There are many. See, it's not just the 18 or 20 or 50 or 100 or 1000. The Lord appears in innumerable circumstances, innumerable forms, innumerable times. But the principal ones have been, generally talked about, sometimes 10, here it is the 18th, but like that, some few are being discussed. But it is innumerable appearances that the Lord makes. Why does he come? We know this, Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya Chatushkutam. So it's basically to protect the devotees, Paritranaya Sadhunam, to protect the sadhus, the devotees. But it's something which the Lord can do sitting anywhere. It's not that the Lord has to personally come to perform, either killing of the Rakshasas or, protecting any devotee. That's not the main purpose. Yes, it is mentioned. It is one of the reasons. But it's actually, the Lord wants to come over to this various material world, various planetary systems within the material world, to actually exchange wonderful relationship with the devotees there. There are, even in the material world, there are many advancing devotees. There are sometimes Nitya Siddhas also, who sometimes appear on the earth for performing some activities, and the Lord may come to, have some relationship with them. Such things happen. So it's like, when, for example, if you come to my home, you of course come to my home, take the effort of coming, particularly in a place like Bangalore. If you have to travel from wherever you are to my home, it's not so easy. It's always a lot of difficulty that you take. But when you come here, the purpose here is to actually exchange nice relationship with us, share some nice discussions, Rama Katha, Krishna Katha, whatever. Have some kirtan, have some nice prasadam. No, that's your objective, to actually have a nice, give your association, and please us by coming over here. But in the process, you may find some mosquitoes, some insects in my house. Sometimes you may choose to annihilate them. But that is not the purpose you are coming here for. You are coming here to actually have a nice exchange, and in the process, sometimes some of these things also happen, and you just take care of that, like that. So the Lord, exactly like that, when he comes here, he comes for actually giving pleasure to the devotees. But by the way, there are so many Rakshasas and so many things which are actually troubling the devotees, and he actually also takes care of them. So this is the purpose of the appearance of Lord Rama. And particularly here, Rama appears. We will discuss about the circumstances. So this Ramayana was originally written by Valmiki, or rather compiled by Valmiki. So Ramayana is not a story. Ramayana is history. It is the life of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appeared, of course, as in the human form. Pranish. So Valmiki was a great personality. So he was meditating on, some thoughts came to his mind. So he was wondering who could be the most perfect person that is presently available on earth. So he was thinking, contemplating on this. At this point in time, Narada Muni, we all know Narada Muni is such a great personality. Whomever he touches, that person becomes a pure devotee. And he has made many such wonderful uh, uh, devotees, the perfect group. So he actually, Prahlad Maharaj, whomever he touches, they create history. Like, their achievements come in Srimad Bhagavatam, the highest nectar of any scriptures that can be. And but those personalities immediately are featured in Srimad Bhagavatam means it's such a great thing, right? We see so many things happen, so many in the political drama or the film world. When you are touched by some great personalities, then no one suddenly becomes very famous. We see that such things. So many new faces come in the film, but then they are acting in maybe a great director's film, and then suddenly they shoot to limelight, or some political personalities who are not big, but when they are touched by a great politician, then their political career takes off, and they become big personalities. So like this, in the spiritual world, Narada Muni is such great celebrity. When he touches anybody, then they automatically become great themselves. So when he appears there, Valmiki Muni offers him a nice, wonderful seat and then inquires about his wellness. And then he asks him certain questions that are mentioned in Valmiki Ramayana, and they are, "O best of all knowers of truth, please tell me how present now on earth is a reservoir of all opulences in full." So the question is, who is the person present now who is the reservoir of all opulences in full? We know that, right? The opulences, the Lord is actually, who can be defined as a Lord? The person who has all the six opulences in full. Not that, some quantity or great quantity or greater quantity. No. The full, not even the greatest. Greatest also can miss something which is not even there in anybody. So therefore he is considered the greatest. But this one is like, full. There is nothing left behind from that particular opulence. Like that, there are as many as these six opulences which are there, which six opulences are there, which we are aware of. Now, this question is about who is that person who has all the six opulences that is presently available on this earth. Who is the most accompanied, learned, powerful, noble-minded, truthful, and grateful? Who possesses flawless character and remains engaged, looking after the genuine welfare of all living entities? Who is there present that is without an equal, clever, the most beautiful, and is never subject to the influence of anger or malice, yet instills fear within the hearts of even the great demigods when enraged? Who has the prowess to give protection to everyone within the three worlds? To whom has the goddess of fortune bestowed all blessings? O great sages, please answer my inquiries fully. So this was the question by Valmiki Muni. So when we meet great personalities, we ask questions which are to help us progress in our search of the absolute truth in understanding our own self, Atma Sakshatkara, or the understanding of the self. So this is the most important thing, and Valmiki Muni asked this. And as soon as he asked this, then immediately Narada Muni replied, yes, there is such a person in this current, living currently in this earth, and that is Lord Ramachandra. So then he talks about Lord Ramachandra. He says, there is an illustrious king by the name of Rama who has appeared in the royal dynasty of Ikshvaku as the son of Maharaja Dasharatha. He is the embodiment of all transcendental qualities and possessor of all opulences. Rama perfectly controls his senses and is the master of unlimited potencies. Rama has mighty arms that extend down to his knees, and his throat is marked with three auspicious lines like those on a contisil. He has Cantasil. He has high and broad shoulders, a wide chest, a beautifully formed head, a graceful forehead, powerful jaws, and deeply embedded collarbones. His eyes are large. He is majestically medium tall in stature, and all his limbs are well formed and symmetrical. His bodily complexion is dark greenish blue and has a great lustre. His intelligence is unfathomable, his manner is grave, and his speech is superb in tone and eloquence. Lord Rama has a supremely pure character and is a follower of true religious principles. He is full in self-realization and is the upholder of Varnashrama Dharma. Truly, he is the support of the entire universe. He is simultaneously the destroyer of all foes and the only shelter for those who are fully surrendered. Lord Rama is the absolute knower of the Vedas. Furthermore, he is fully conversant with the use of all weapons. He possesses all unflinching determination and is a genius with unfailing memory. Indeed, his learning is without bonds. He is wise, compassionate, and heroic in battle. He is loved by all creatures and is impartial towards friends and foes alike. He is grave like an ocean. In fortitude, he is like the Himalayan mountain. In strength, he is like Lord Vishnu. In beauty, he is like the moon. In forbearance, he is like the earth. And in anger, he is like the fire that blazes forth at the time of universal destruction. In wealth, he is like Kuvera. And in devotion, he is like Dharma, the Lord of righteousness. So this way, Narada Muni gives him some highlights to talk about who Lord Rama is. And then he actually inspires him that, this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So now, then Narada Muni leaves that place. Then Valmiki Muni then starts meditating on this great personality called Rama, with whom he heard about from Narada Muni. So he is actually then going and taking a bath. And when he is, after he finishes bath, he is actually seeing two cranes. They are actually, a male and female bird. They are in their ecstatic, loving relationship, and in their, height of ecstasy in that conjugal love. At that point in time, one hunter, he actually steps out and actually shoots the male bird and pierces its heart. Now, this Valmiki is seeing this, and he is really upset. He is seeing he's a man of great compassion. He is seeing such two birds actually in such ecstasy, and at that point in time, here is someone who's actually killing this bird, and he gets very angry. And then the she-bird, it's crying in that height of pleasure. Suddenly, her pleasure is stopped, and then this it's crying its heart out, and then immediately the Muni gets so very anger, and he immediately curses this hunter, saying, you will suffer for millions of years, something like that. He actually curses him. Then he immediately thinks later that, why did I get so angry? I should not have acted in such a bad manner. I should not have acted in haste and given this man such a big curse like that. So as he was thinking like this, at the same time, he is also astonished by how he gave the curse. The curse actually, he gave it in such a very poetic manner. It had actually 4 lines, each having two words, and it was so poetic. And he realized, how come that, I get this kind of poetic way of speaking? I have never done this earlier. How come this is coming? So while he is upset, he is cursed, but he is also astonished how that such a rhyming, such wonderful poetic way of expression has come to him. So as he was thinking, Lord Brahma appears there. And Lord Brahma, then he again receives Brahma in a proper manner. And then looking at him in a sad manner, then Lord Brahma inquires, and then he understands that this has happened. And Lord Brahma actually counsels him. He says, don't worry about this. This is something which happened because I wanted to have this to happen. I wanted to sort of inspire you to come out with nice, poetic way. And these are my words which came through your mouth. So, and he is then reminding him of his meeting with Narada Muni and telling him, you should now write this wonderful scripture of Ramayana. So this is how Ramayana came to be spoken, and Valmiki then started meditating, and then by the blessings of Lord Brahma, the entire life of Lord Ramachandra appeared in his heart, like how we see things live, like that. He was able to see every detail so very nicely, and then he started writing this poem beautifully, So now if you see this Ramayana, it's a very, very big epic. Valmiki composed like this. That means 4 lines consisting each of 2 words, like that. And he wrote how many verses like this? 24,000 verses. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 24,000 verses. Srimad Bhagavatam, we know, is something which we all, the scripture that we all take it to heart and read so very much for the Kali Yuga. In our Sampradaya, Srimad Bhagavatam is the prescribed scripture. And it has got 18,000 verses. But this Ramayana has got 24,000 verses. Now, if you see Sri Sampradaya, they are more focused on Ramayana, the epic Ramayana, the literature Ramayana, while we are more focused on Srimad Bhagavatam. The Gaudiya Sampradaya, we are more focused on Srimad Bhagavatam. But Ramayana is also very sacred. Literally, there's no difference between Lord Krishna and Lord Rama. We need to understand this. Prabhupada talks about that very nicely in his class on Ramanavami. There are 2 lectures which I am aware of that Prabhupada speaks. So Prabhupada actually speaks about Lord Rama not being different from Lord Krishna. Both are the same. It is just that Lord Rama, here also we see that he has all the 6 opulences in full. That means there is nothing short for him. But just that Lord Rama chose not to exhibit all of them. Unlike Lord Krishna, who exhibited all his potencies in full without any limitations. But Rama chose to limit himself in certain aspects. So for example, Lord Rama, we will see this in Bhagavatam in the 9th canto also. There is a description of Lord Rama. There Lord Rama is described as the person who married just one wife and he remained very faithful to her all his life. So that is one of the, if I should say a greatness, or if I should say a limitation from a Lord's perspective. That means Lord Rama, it's not that he cannot marry, it's just that he limited himself. Krishna, on the other hand, whoever is desirous of marrying him, any of the women, yes, please come, I will marry. That's the Supreme Lord. It's not about sex, it's about him in the spiritual concept. There is nothing called bodily relationships. It is all to do with the intimate relationship of the 2 souls in the loving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Lord Krishna accepted everyone in that mood. Whoever, any women who actually wanted to marry him, he accepted. But here Lord Rama said, no, I am not going to give any such concessions. It's just that I will only be loyally married to Mother Sita. So this is Lord Rama's this one. But he came as a human being, specifically as a human being, and actually taught how a Grahastha has to live. This is very important. How Grahasthas have to live. So he was an exemplary character in so many ways in terms of various relationship. How do we deal with situations as a human being, as a Grahastha? So he taught this very nicely. So there are, you can go on, maybe today and even Sunday, Bhagavatam class will only be scratching the surface. We will try to discuss a little bit. And of course, Sunday will be a continuation of this actually. So we will be trying to discuss some more detailed aspects of what I am trying maybe today to summarize it at a high level. We will go into some depth of some of these things that we will be discussing today on Sunday. So, so this is how Lord Rama appeared, but we need to understand then therefore how Lord Rama appeared. So there was this great place called Ayodhya, Kaushalya Desh. That is the kingdom which was ruled by Dasaratha Maharaj. That in that there is a place called Ayodhya. This Ayodhya, I think, measures some 96 miles length and maybe 24 or 25 miles width. This is the, what do you call, the area of Ayodhya within the Kaushala Desh. So Janak Maharaj was king of the Kaushal Desh. Of course, he was the king of the universe, like, he was the king of the universe, but the specific capital we can call that Kaushalya Desh, and within that Ayodhya is the place where he was actually having his palace. And it was a great place, like, Janak Maharaj, if you know, he lived for 60,000 years, not 1 year, 10 year, 100 year, 1,000 years, 10,000 years, 60,000 years. And of course, Lord Rama, who was his son, he ruled over for 11,000 years. Rama Rajya, we call it, right? Of course, Rama Rajya was there even during the rule of Dharmaraj, Yudhishthira. Even during Parikshit Maharaj's rule, there was Ramaraj. There is absolutely, Ramaraj means that's a place where there is nobody who will have anything that is wanting. Just imagine, nothing that you will feel, oh, I am lacking this. No, there is no disease. There, in fact, no woman will become a widow, during Ramraj. Of course, Rama's own mothers become widow. That's a different story. But during Ram's rule, there was not even one widow. So it's like that. The children will not pass away before the parents. So many things like that. And everybody were so happy, blissful. There is nobody had to become a thief, nothing. They were all in perfect bliss because Lord Rama was a perfect king, perfect householder, and therefore everything fell in place automatically. That is also true when rulers rule perfectly. When a ruler rules perfectly, there is no drought, there is no famine, there is no disasters, nothing is there. But today, because the world is all ruled by so many demoniac people, we are actually having so many of these problems. Otherwise, actually the rains also, they don't even come during the daytime. When you are all sleeping, the rains will come, and then morning everything will be clean, and there will be no famine. The grains will come. People will have nice grains, and they will eat happily. There is no untimely death. People will not have any kind of bad sickness. Nothing like this. Everything will be perfect. Everybody will be able to focus on devotional life. Of course, whatever ashrama they are in, varna and ashrama they are in, to practice that, and in the process progress towards going back to Godhead. This is how when a perfect ruler rules. And Rama was an epitome of such a behavior. So he was there and he was ruling it like that. So Janak Maharaj, even though he's living for 60,000 years, he has everything in his kingdom also. His kingdom also, like Rama's kingdom, like everything was perfect. But then he was unhappy in one count that, he did not have any boy children. Actually, if you know, I don't know how many of us know, Janak Maharaj had a daughter also. Her name is Shanta. So, but that daughter was actually given away to another king called Rompad, because that Rompad was having no children, and when Janak Raj had this daughter, they were friends. So Janak Maharaj gave away that daughter. Sorry, I'm saying the Janaka Maharaj, that is Sita's father. This is Dasarath Maharaj. Sorry, I have been addressing as Janak Maharaj for quite some time now. Forgive me for that. So Dasarath Maharaj had a daughter. Other than Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, Shatrughan, he also had a daughter. This is Santa, and she was given away to Rompad, one king. We will talk about Rompad a little later. But he didn't have any son to rule over. So normally, what is the thought of any, particularly a king? He wanted a son so that he can actually hand over the responsibilities to the son, and then he can actually go and start doing his Vanaprastha life, self-realization towards realization of God. This is the process of, unless today's so many, if you look at parents, they want money like from the children, they want to But here the parents want to actually, Vedically, the parents want to give away all their money to their children, and they want to go away, live in a very austere way, live in a simple way, not, oh, now today we think, oh, I have now retired, I want to enjoy. That time, there is, I have enjoyed enough, I want to just withdraw from all these things. And material enjoyment, I want to stop and I want to go into spiritual enjoyment. This is the way it is. Today, everything is ulta Kali Yuga, right? We slog like an ass till we are, 50 or 60 or 70. Even not, I don't know, even people after retirement, we take up other assignments, we say, no, after retirement, I suddenly felt my life is lost, so I have taken up some other engagement like that people feel. And they are working so hard like an ass, working so many years for, and then they think, okay, if there's some other enjoyment I can do little bit, because I'm not so much into pressure of working, but I still want to work, but I want also enjoy life. Then they try to go around, visiting various cities, so many things, visiting friends, relatives, do all the things that they could not do in their 60, 70 years, they do when they are 70. This is Kali Yuga's thing. But those days, all of that is all done when they are young. In the Grahastha Ashrama, between 25 and 50, they have actually enjoyed all the material benefits, whatever they wanted to. But after 50, they want to renounce, they want to go out, and then they want to search of work towards, even earlier they were doing, but now more focused. They want to spend 24/7 in this kind of a ashrama of, Vanaprastha, and then, of course, finally the sannyas ashram. So Janak Maharaj was in that mode that, I'm not having children, what will I do? I've been living for 66,000, whatever, I've been ruling for so many years, what to do? So when he was thinking like this, at the same time, not only he was in trouble, there other people were also in trouble. The other people who were in trouble were, of course, and none other than the Devatas themselves. So these Devatas were having their problem. They go and meet Janak Maharaj, and then they tell Janak Maharaj, they go and meet Brahmaji, and they tell Brahmaji, see, you gave such a great prasada for all of us. So, he is asking, what prasada? So they are a little sarcastic in that sense, say, see, you, when this Ravana was performing severe austerities, you gave him a prasada, means you gave him a boon. Because of that boon, we are all suffering so badly now. This is like that. He's saying so he's asking, so what is Ravana is doing to you all? Brahma will ask. So he is actually terrorized us so much that, we are not able to function ourselves. We are not able to perform the activities to control the universe as how we are supposed to control. Like, for example, the sun. The sun, Ravana's, under Ravana's control, Ravana will say, I want you to remain like how it is at 7 o'clock in the morning, that's all. I want it to be pleasant. When I walk out, I want to see, even if it is say 12 noon, I want the temperature, how it is early morning, 7 o'clock, I want it to be like that. And Surya has no other option but simply to ensure that it is like that. Vayu. When generally you will see Vayu will blow sometimes very gentle, sometimes very hard, sometimes very dry. So many combinations are there. Sometimes whirlwinds will come. Vayu he can terrorize, he can do whatever. We have seen in the Western world, you will find so many times whirlwinds which will destroy an entire city. Vayu is so powerful. But to Vayu, he will tell, it should not be any faster than maybe, this much, very, very pleasant breeze. That's what I want it to be. It cannot be little more. I don't even want one dust flying and coming into my eyes because, you are blowing. You need to be at that stage. You should be at that speed. However, it should be very pleasant. That's your job. You please do that. No, please, just do it. That's how he orders. Then the Sagara, the ocean, water, the, the Varuna. The sea, it's always turbulent. All the waves, it's always turbulent. It creates so many tsunamis, so many things. But to him, he says, you should just be so soft that it should be like a lake. And I will come and take bath and everything should be so pleasant for me when I take bath there. And he has to follow. That's it. He has no choice. He cannot do anything. So this is how he was terrorizing all these devatas, and so they were saying, we are really struck like this. So then so Brahma thinks, so what's the problem? How come that, what can we do? What is it that, we can do to get these people out of the problem? So he then remembers what he gave him, what do you call, moon he gave. He tries to recollect what all aspects he gave. There he realizes Ravana asked for these moons, which where he says, I should not be destroyed by the Gandharvas, by the Yakshas, by the Devatas, by by the Rakshasas. So he's thinking of all these powerful personalities in his mind that they should not actually kill me. But he never thought about, for example, a human being. For him, a human being is nothing. It's like, bachas. I don't even care about this human being. I am already very powerful. No human being can touch me. So he was thinking like this. So he didn't even think of human beings as a threat to him. So he left off humans. He left off bears. He left off monkeys. The rest of the things he said, they should not be able to kill me. So he remembered that. Therefore, he thinks, now, if at all anyone can kill, it can be a human. But human means not an ordinary human like us, because that already Ravana knows he is much more powerful than all this. Then who can be that human being who can actually come and kill Ravana? So they are thinking, at that time Lord Vishnu appears there. So Lord Vishnu appears and then he says, what is all this? What are you all, congregating here, and what is the discussion going on? Like that he asks. So they all immediately pray their obeisances and then sings very nice, wonderful prayers for Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu actually blesses them. Lord Vishnu blesses very nicely that, may all of you, along with your children, along with your friends, along with your well-wisher, everybody be very happy. So this is Lord Vishnu's prayers. Now we have to understand here, these are all devotees. They are having the ability to have darshan of Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu personally. But here, because of them, their children, their friends, their well-wishers, their neighbors, everybody is getting blessed by Lord Vishnu. What did they do? They are not so great personally, but then how did they get it? So this is the advantage of having the association of great personalities. We see Srila Prabhupada, his wonderful disciples. They are all very dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We may not be, or at least I am not. But how can we still get the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? It simply get hold of their lotus feet. That's all we need to do, nothing more. And because they are blessed, because the Lord always looks at his pure devotees, along with them we are also seen by the Lord. That's all. There is one beautiful verse where it is said in Ramayana. I'm not quoting it because I don't know it by memory. Where it is said, when Lord Brahma, who in this world does not have the eyes to see, or is not fortunate enough to see the coronation of Lord Rama? Who in this world is so unfortunate not to see the coronation of Lord Rama? That means, and more importantly, and in the process, being seen by the lotus feet of Lord Rama. Seen by the lotus eyes of Lord Rama. Of course, lotus feet also. Rama can, the Supreme Lord uses all his different, the limbs for different purposes. It's not that the Lord has to only use his eye to see. He can use his legs also to see. We always see our prayers at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the Lord is seeing. So like this, so he says, who is not blessed to not be seen by the Lord on the day of his incarnation, on the day of his being crowned as the prince, like that. So like this, when we are taking the shelter of the pure devotees of the Lord, while seeing them, he is also seeing us, and therefore we are bestowed with all the auspiciousness by the Lord. So that's very important. So this blessing to the Devatas is a learning for us. We need to be like this. Now the Devatas then tell Lord Vishnu, oh Lord Vishnu, we are all suffering so badly, He says, why? Why are you suffering? He says, there is this Ravana who's so bad, he's troubling. He says, what kind of trouble? They say, he's such a terror. He is someone who troubles all the devotees. That means those who are performing so many austerities. He's so arrogant. And he's literally freezed everybody. Nobody is able to act completely on their own, do their, perform their, whatever is their duty, they are not able to perform. And he is the epitome of trouble. So, he's made everybody cry so much all over, not just the Devatas, all over the universe. He's terrorizing people, and therefore we need you to help us in this regard. So Lord Vishnu asks, so is it so? I am not aware. Who's speaking? Lord Vishnu is speaking here. He's saying, I am not aware that there is something like this happening. Then he's asking, so what should I do? You tell me, how can I help you? So it's not like, Lord Vishnu is very innocently asking, how can I help you? Then they say, they talk about this, the boon and, what can happen, who can actually kill him like a human form. So they request, oh Lord Vishnu, please take a human form and go to the Earth planet, and then you please help us to destroy this demon. So Lord Vishnu, at that time, while this is happening on the other side, Dasarath Maharaj, when he was having this deep, this one, then he comes to know his Sumatra, his minister, he gives him we will talk about this another day, that, he gives him an option that, you have to get Rishyashringa, one wonderful saintly person who's basically none other than his own son-in-law. That means Santa's husband. Of course, because he had given her to Rompad, he was not having that relationship. You get that boy, and he should perform a yajna, and the Ashwamedha yajna. And if he performs this Ashwamedha yajna, then Lord, you will have children. And then he comes there, and then he performs this yajna. And then he says, actually, you should also perform the Putra Ishti Yajna. So then he performs the Putra Ishti Yajna. And when the Putra Ishti Yajna was completed, at that time, there is this, all these demigods are all also invited. They are all coming there, because you should simultaneously, that discussion was happening with Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu was saying, so I will do this. I'll go as a human, but where should I go? Who is the person who's qualified enough to receive me as the father? So he was thinking like that. He was looking for an opportunity to have a wonderful father. Like, he was having this desire. Oh, I want to be really cared for. How a nice father is. I want to have such a father who will care for me, who will love me so much, who will be so very happy to experience my little things, encourage me. All this Lord Vishnu was thinking. And who can be that person? And then he understands that when he sees that, here is Dashrath Maharaj, and he is the most qualified person to be my father. And therefore he decides, okay, I will go there. And he says, okay, I will go there. And at the same time, this yajna is happening. And then, and the final culmination of that yajna, one beautiful personality comes from the fire. He's copper hair and, very powerful, very gigantic body, very beautifully sculpted everything. And then he comes with a nice, wonderful payas, I don't know what you call a payas in English. Payas is that sweet rice, or, that which is served in the beginning of a feast, nice sweet liquid. It is served. So that is of that, he comes with that, and then he says, and he gives that payas to Dashrath, and he says, you should feed this to your most loyal wives. You should feed this to your most loyal wives or favorable wives, and then you will be blessed with the children. So like this, he hands over, then he immediately pays his abhivadi, and then circumambulates this wonderful personality, and then immediately distributes a lot of charity, and immediately also offers this payas to the wives. So he gives some to Kaushalya, who is the eldest queen, then some to Kaikeyi, who is the youngest queen, and Sumatra, who is the second queen. So this discussion we will have in detail. But anyway, they got the pious, and then immediately they conceived, and then they became so beautiful. The generally pregnant women are supposed to look very beautiful, and what if you have the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in your womb? So they were the tejas, what you call that brilliant effulgence was there in their bodies, and then within 12 months, then these beautiful, each of them had the children. So Kaushalya gave birth to Lord Rama, then Kaikeyi gave birth to Lord Bharata, then Sumatra gave birth to Lakshmana and Shatrughna. So this is about their appearance in this material world, to annihilate the demon, to save the devotees, and to perform such wonderful pastimes. The Lord appeared on this planet, and there are very wonderful pastimes that happened. We will discuss a little more elaborately maybe on Sunday. I will stop here. It's already 9:10, so we will stop here. We just discussed at a high level the appearance of Lord Ramachandra. If there are any comments, most welcome. If there are any questions, any comments, welcome. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the Katha today. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Madhava. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. It was wonderful. We have learned many things, and even we can remember Lord first time, and we are blessed with. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. We will again, I am again and again saying this because this is so wonderful. There are so many things. So maybe on Sunday we will get into some more detailed specifics. Please try to join on Sunday as well, all of you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thanks, Prabhu. We'll do that, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thanks for the wonderful class.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Dandat Pranam. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Okay, so we will.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandat Pranam.
Dandat Pranam, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
One small question, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Like as you said in the class that Valmiki was blessed by Lord Brahma, like he was made that yes, you can do it, you can write the Ramayana whatsoever. So is it the right way to understand that only when there's a blessings from Krishna that we get the knowledge, and only then we can get our bhakti also? Or else, because Prabhu, because unless and until there is, as I said, not a blade of grass moves without his permission. So, is it right way to understand only when there is a blessings from mercy from Krishna? Only then we can grow in bhakti also.
Absolutely. See, nothing happens without the concurrence of the Lord. He is in complete control of everything. Everything can happen under his blessings only. Why not bhakti? Bhakti is the most difficult thing to get. Material things also, somehow you have karma, you will get it. But bhakti, you will not get it just by karma. No. See, this is a wonderful pastime of Damodar, right? In Damodar Leela, you know, Mother Yashoda tried to bind Lord Krishna, right? She puts in so much of effort. Therefore, because I have put in effort, do I have the right to tie you? Right? But she is not able to tie him. No, karma is how you put in effort, you will get the result. That's karma, right? Karma is like that. Whatever you put in effort, you are supposed to get the benefit. To the extent your effort is there, you will get the benefit, no doubt. Anything that we do, you put in some effort in the work, you will get that money. Even if your employer cheats you, not to worry. Whatever work you have done, for which you will get the benefit. You may not get it from this employer, but you will get because you have earned the karma for it. I mean, that person is bound to give. If he has exploited you, he has to compensate for it. This is the law of karma. But when it comes to bhakti, the Lord is not bound by anything. So you may do so many things to him, but he may simply not bother to respond. It is his prerogative. Therefore, only by his blessing. So therefore, the Lord then, when Yashoda put in so much of effort, then the Lord could have chosen, no, I will not allow myself to be bound. Then she could not have bound him. But then he decided, no, I will give my mother this mercy. Give her this happiness of binding me. And that's the two-finger story. She will try to tie him, and there will always be two-finger gap. One finger is represent, Acharyas say one finger represents our effort. The other is basically the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, but again, even if you put in effort, not necessarily the Lord has to reciprocate. Of course, we are not so, the Lord is so merciful. It is his prerogative, but he always gives. That's the other thing. Therefore, we need to put in our effort, and the Lord will certainly recognize it when he has to recognize it. You cannot force him to give his mercy, but he will certainly give. And he has already given, said, I have delegated that to my pure devotees. You just surrender to my pure devotees, they will give you. There are many stories for, the Lord actually saying this, don't come to me directly. Just go to my pure devotees. And all my mercy is, is deposited in my pure devotees. So they can give it to you. I cannot give myself because everything is taken away by them. I cannot give you myself. They can give you me. This is their mood, his mood. So if we go to the pure devotees, Srila Prabhupada is there, in our parampara, his pure devotees are there. His Prabhupada's pure sincere disciples are there. In other paramparas, there are Ramanujacharya, his disciples. Like this various parampara, pure successions which have not broken nicely, like this paramparas are there. They are empowered to give that mercy to us. So we need to beg for that mercy, seek that mercy, put in our effort, and it will come. But only by the mercy of Krishna we will get it. Krishna says, I sitting in your heart will reveal the knowledge to you. In Bhagavad Gita, he says that. He doesn't say you read Bhagavad Gita, you will understand. Of course, he says that. That's why he's giving Bhagavad Gita. But he's saying, reading is fine, but that Guhyatamam knowledge will be revealed in your heart by me. And that cannot happen unless we have the mercy of the pure devotees of the Lord. Does it help, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Very much, Prabhu. Thanks a lot, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Tantapada.
Thank you very much. Okay. So thank you all very much. Looking forward to meeting you all again on Sunday for the Srimad Bhagavatam class on Rama and its appearance, pastimes, for the Abhishek, so many wonderful celebrations is there in the temple. Looking forward to seeing you all there. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Krishna, thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.